Hello friends, let's start with the next video series for Unit 2, that is inheritance. The review of last video, we had implemented various programs with the use of various inheritance, hierarchical, multi-level, multiple inheritance, and got acquainted with the various types of inheritance. Objective of this video is to know about how destructor and constructor works in case of inheritance, what is overriding in C++, and what is the ambiguity which is arrived in multiple inheritance. So here constructor and destructor behavior when in C++ in terms of inheritance. So suppose if an object of derived class is created, always it is there that the base class constructor is called, followed by the derived class constructor. And when an object of a derived class expires, first the derived class destructor is invoked, followed by the base class destructor. So if, for example, if I am having class X, class Y colon public X, and I create an object of Y class in the main function, so what will be the order of the constructor and destructor invocation? Let's check out. The output will be constructor. While you create an object of Y class, constructor is called for Y class, but Y class constructor previously calls constructor of X class, and hence we have the output constructor X, then constructor Y. And as soon as you complete the program, first the destructor of Y is called, that is the one which has been constructed afterwards, and then the destructor of X is being called, that is in reverse order of its creation. So accordingly, if I am having a single inheritance, so here just observe that I am having a class A which is having A's constructor and class B colon public A, and I create an object of B class in the main function. So as in output you can see class A constructor is called first since it is the base class, and then the B constructor is called when we create an object of B class. Now constructor and destructor in C++ for multiple inheritance, let's understand that I have a class A and class B, and class C is inheriting the property of B class as well as A class. Now note the order in which the constructor is being, the class is being written. First I am writing public B colon public A, and then I am writing C's constructor call in the C's constructor. So when I create an object of the C class as seen in the output base class constructor, B is called first because we have written class C colon public B first. Then A's constructor is called, that is all the base class constructor of C is called, C, B as well as A, and then C's constructor is called. While destructor, first C's destructor will be called, then B's destructor, and then A's destructor. In case of multi-level inheritance, if I am writing this class A, class B is an base class of class C, whereas B is the derived class of class A. So if I am having this hierarchy and I create an object of C class, first the class A constructor is called, then class B's constructor, then class C's constructor, and then in the reverse order C's destructor will be called, followed by B and A. So as seen in the output, always the destructor of derived class is destructor C is called, followed by the destructor of B and then the destructor of A. That means the destructors are always called in the reverse direction of the invocation of constructor. So this is how you can pass the arguments to the base class constructor. Suppose if I am having base integer I, float j, if my base class has two data members A and B, so for taking a value for A, you are initializing the value to A, I have taken I, and for initializing a value to B, you have taken the j. So A is equal to I and B is equal to j. Now class derived colon public base, now derived doesn't have its own data member. So though it doesn't have its own data member, it is taking two parameters. Why these two parameters? To pass these parameters to the base class, because we create an object of only derived class in the main function to access the functions of base class. So here I am writing integer p comma float q, so where p and q will be passed to base class. So as you can see, even the derived constructor does not have a parameter for itself, yet it accepts the parameter for base constructor and invokes base class constructor with these parameters. Now we will come to know about what is overriding in C++. Overriding is a concept where you can see an example. The student class is having its own data member name and display function, and college class is having its own data member CNAME, but the function name is same, display. So when you create an object of the derived class, this derived class, and access the display function, it is overridden. That means what? If the base class function name and derived class function name is same, the C class object overrides the, that is the derived class function overrides the base class function, and that is why when I write C dot display, that is the college object dot display, it will call the function of derived class itself. It will not call the function of base class. This is known as overriding in C++. So will it be that I cannot call the base class function? So the solution for this is either you have take different function name for base class or derived class, or the option is you use scope resolution operator. So how to use the scope resolution operator when you have an overridden function? You can write, for example, you can see C dot display, this will call the function of college class, and using the college class object, if I want to access display function of base class student, I will write as C dot student, that is the base class, scope resolution operator display. So this will call the function of base class. So here to call the base class function, you use only derived class object and we use it as derived class object name dot base class name scope resolution operator and the function of the base class. So as seen, you are having class A which is having a print function. Class B colon public A is also having a print function where I am writing B's print, and here in the main when I create an object of B class and call the B print function, in this manner here A is a base class, B is a derived class, and the output will be B's print itself, because this is a B class function which is invoked. So in this case, if you want A class print function to call, you should either have function name different as discussed, or you can have B dot A scope resolution operator print. When you do this, then the output will be B's print and A's print. So overridden function can be resolved by using the scope resolution operator. Now we will see about the concept which is known as ambiguity in multiple inheritance. Now consider that you have a student which is having its own data member class name and print function, an employee which is having a department name as its data member and print function. As there is no relation between student and employee, if I create student S and write S dot print, it will call the print function of student class only. And if I want to create the employee object employee E and E dot print, automatically the print function of employee will be called. So there is no ambiguity over here. But for example, when I am creating from these two classes, I am creating a college class which is having its data member name and it wants to access the print function, and if I am writing college C and C dot print, now in this case you have a copy of print function from student also and from employee also. So college object becomes confused, and this is known as ambiguity error, because college function gets two copies of print function, one from student class and one from employee class. So before to resolve this ambiguity in multiple inheritance, what is the solution? You can write using scope resolution operator. So how you will write? College C dot student scope resolution operator print and C dot employee scope resolution operator and print function. So accordingly the C object will understand which print function is to be called. So resolving ambiguity in multiple inheritance is possible with the help of scope resolution operator. So if a multiple inheritance is there, then though the function names of base class are same, see here class A and class B are the two functions which are having same name, print and print, and I'm deriving the base class A as well as class B publicly in class C, and C class is also having its print function, class C's print function. And inside the main, when I am creating an object of C class and I am writing C dot print, it will not give me an error. Why? Because C has a print function itself. So this will call, when I write C dot print, this is base class and that is C. So it will write class C's print function because C has a print function. Suppose if C doesn't have a print function of its own, then only the ambiguity error will exist, as shown in next. Class A, class B, and now my class C doesn't have a print function. As discussed in the previous, I don't have print function over here. And now if I write class C, C dot print returns 0, here your A class and B class, then at this time you get an output, that is ambiguity error. This happens as C is having two copies of print function from A class and B class. So instead of that, we can have C dot A scope resolution operator print and C dot B scope resolution operator print. So this was how we can reduce the ambiguity error in multiple inheritance. What do you mean by overriding? Having same function name in base class and derived class is overriding, and constructor and destructor behavior in C++ in case of inheritance is always that constructor of the base class is invoked first and then that of derived class, while destroying, the destructor of derived class is first called and then the destructor of base class. Thank you for watching the video. Do subscribe the channel and like the video. Thank you.